have to say, and once I can stand up and speak out in the interest of St. Martin people, because that's the cause that I have joined, and I'm very proud to be part of that. So good afternoon to your many listeners on the island and abroad, all over the world, and also a special good afternoon to use a term of Horace. We work in crews, right? We are the Wednesday crew, right? Mm-hmm. Some would say the setup crew. And then we have the Friday crew, we have the Thursday program too on the other radio station.
Yes.
So I would like to say good afternoon to all the other crew members, and I got to also commend them, for the way they do whatever they're doing in terms of presenting the program. I think they're doing a great job. I'm very impressed, when I hear the Friday crew in particular. And I also have to commend, Horace. Horace was on the other radio station a few days ago. And I didn't get to hear the beginning of the program, but I think it's going to be re-aired again, huh?
Yesterday.
Was it yesterday? Oh, okay, yesterday. Yeah. I got calls from a number of people, who said, James, listen to that guy, man, listen to him. And then I realized, that Horace was on, and I got part of the program. And I must say, Horace has a way of bringing the message and presenting himself that I envy. I really, really envy. The guy is so cool and collected, and simple terms, He connects, I find, not only with your brain, but with your gut. Because, when you listen to Horace, and that was the feedback I got from people too, the guy's for real. He's for real, and I feel very proud, to be part of a team, with people like Horace and Jesse and Etik and all the others, because it rubs off. All of us have our own specific personalities. Mine ain't so sharp. I like a wooden artist. But I'm grateful to you all that you all accept me. And all my disabilities. But I'm just doing my part. So again, I'm glad to be here. As part of the Wednesday crew, and I look forward to a very interesting program as well.
Okay, Monica, you have to get to the microphone. I see your hands up.
You wanted to make me laugh, right? Because my hands wasn't actually up.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, radio listeners. Good afternoon to my crew here, and good afternoon to the crew outside of us, the Wednesday crew, and the Friday crew, and also Brother Tuza. This afternoon, and I must say, of course, good afternoon to all who's hearing us across the world. I know people are listening because I get comments every day. And I want to thank those people for always giving us the comment that they're giving us. It's always positive. You rarely hear something negative, and I really want to commend those people for that. Before going into passing the mic to Jesse and the rest, and the Patriot, something special I want to say this afternoon. I know yesterday there was a small little event in Concordia where...
You want to introduce them first so we could go long on it?
Oh, no, sure. Why not?
Yes, otherwise they're going to steal. You don't want to lament too much on it, and I think it deserves more lament.
Okay, yeah. All right. Okay. All right. So I want to say good afternoon to my special listeners who listens, particularly to Molly. She listens all the time, so I want to say good afternoon to her.
Good afternoon, Molly.
And to those others who always listen, and also good afternoon to you. You know who you are. So I'm here, and I have a reason why I'm here, and my reason is St. Martin.
Yeah, Jesse.
Yeah, good afternoon. This is Jesse speaking. I would like to say good afternoon to each and every one of you listening across the globe. And good afternoon to my fellow team members and lady, of course, Gladys Knight, Nadika, jokingly. Yeah, and to all those people that enjoy this program, I want you to know that we have sacrificed a lot of time to bring you this program based on we wanted to build that St. Martin heritage of a certain different way with a certain amount of knowledge, a certain amount of understanding, where we could sit down and reason. Something I would like to see St. Martin doing a little more when they call in to identify themselves, because I think that's the way we will start growing as a people, taking our own personal responsibility and so on. So, with those said and do, I'll pass the mic back to my fellow teammates.
Yeah, Patriot. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to the people of St. Martin. It's always my pleasure to be here with you all. I think our group, the native, the St. Martin movement, grassroots movement, is a powerful thing. We don't compromise with our values. We definitely do not compromise defending St. Martin with an unapologetic. I think this is the group that is really, without a doubt, the voice of the native people of St. Martin. It was always so, still is, and always will be until the day we die. I want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy this wonderful program.
Yes, well, this afternoon, what we're going to be doing, folks, let me start out by giving God thanks, giving us strength, giving us the wisdom, giving us the right way to convey this message this afternoon, so that when they reach in the ears of the people, they understand exactly where the grassroots is going, and asking God for faith. Asking God also, especially for what last week Carla said about St. Martin problem is spiritual, is wickedness in high places, and we got to call on God. We got to pray, asking St. Martin people to pray for this island, pray for us, pray for the bloodline people of St. Martin. God, we ask you for strength, asking you to cover us under the blood. In Jesus' name, Amen.
Amen.
Wisdom.
Yes, give us all the wisdom we need. This afternoon we want to touch a bit on the, not a bit, or quite elaborate a little bit on the Dominican Republic decision that they made there with their business, with the thing of the 1929, when they go back from 1929 to define who they are. And that's the same position we as a grassroots, defining who we are. So we're going to link them together and bring in talking about leadership and what, all that will tie into one and bring it home.
Intertwining.
Yes, bring it home to our situation here. But before we get into that, I know Nadika and myself and the rest of the guys want to talk a bit about what your brother yesterday did, which is heroic. He's a hero.
Heroic, yeah.
He's a hero. He's been like that for a long time, and
He has
always. And I want to big up Toad. I rather you do because that's your brother, Nadika.
Yeah.
And then I can jump on it too.
Yesterday morning, the incident that happened, and I guess everyone knows about it because he was on this one with it, where he was defending a St. Martin cause, where a group of St. Martin people living in a small little area, and there was no phone line, no cable line and stuff like that, based on a company that came and had to do whatever they had to do, and they didn't really finish their job, and they leave the unattended to, because if there was an emergency at night or anything, no one can call because there's no phone line, there's no cable line. And there was many complaints by this individual, my brother, and no one take him on. But I want to commend the people who stand up with him in the cause that he stand up for, because this is what St. Martin's supposed to do. Stand up for a cause. And I know that I'm not defending the person as brother. At the same time, I'm defending my brother.
Yeah.
Because blood is thicker than water, but the truth is thicker than blood. And I got to commend him for the job he's doing. And many times I call and ask my brother, for what I know he's been through for so many years, how do he have the guts to do what he's doing without help? But it's a sacrifice that he has made. Because my brother went to school, and he did well, like anybody else. And I could only see it as a person who loved his country for the act that he have always done. Because he has always been involved from the day he come back to St. Martin to occupy his position here. He was pushed around. He was personally being a victim of society.
Big time.
Because of who he was and because of what he stands for. Okay. And he has always been that victim, but I really truly gotta commend him from my guts and from this, the love that I have for him and that his family have for him, because I could talk on behalf of my family also. Because we have always been not totally against him, but always warn him and always tell him, you got to stop because you don't see your victim. But he have never stopped. Out of the sacrifices that he have made, out of the sacrifices and out of how he's been victimized by society, he have never stopped. He had never stopped. I remember myself for many times crying for him, physically crying for my brother because of all what he's been through. And when I hear him this morning, I get a serious flashback of what happened to him a few years ago when he was taken by the gendarmes like he was a criminal, with his 2 feet shackled and his 2 hands shackled and flinging a plane, and we just could have to hear it on our jobs, hear about it on our jobs, and then find so many different people to go to and to help him get out of there. And one of the sad part that I remember is when they land him back in St. Martin, he was no way other looking like a bomb, and I cried for my brother. But today he's still standing, and this is a story to tell people what all he's been through, not only for himself, but for St. Martin. And for those people who don't understand what he's doing, I think you need to take a time out and make an assessment on the true St. Martin, or the fundamentalist that he is as a young person. And the other thing I have to do is commend his wife for standing alongside of him, for doing all that sacrifice that she have done for the many years. They have not get along for many reasons, because sometimes she didn't agree with him, but she still stand along his side, and his family stand along his side, because none of us have never turned our backs from him, and only we know how he suffered. Some people today are praising him, but only we know how he suffered. Some people, he wasn't no good. He had a lot of skeleton in his closet, and he was this and he was that, because he was defending the interests of St. Martin people. He was not doing no different to what our cause is today as a grassroots movement. We may have a different approach, but at the end of the day, we're doing the same thing, and I really truly have to commend my brother for the job he's doing.
Definitely.
Yeah, I also like to join Narika and commend him for a great job, because there's certain things in life you can't teach. And I guess when people try to discourage someone with that type of mindset, there's no way you can discourage them, because, there's certain people that is born with that gene, and I go back and think of when you speak here, I think on your both of your sisters that stood up also on the mat to save the frontier. They were fighters also, so I guess it runs in the gene. And, the point I try to make is that some people stand up only to grandstand, but as quick as there's danger, there's possibility of going to jail, they would always back down and back out as if they were no part of this thing. St. Martin people must learn that on all those kinds of sacrifice, there's always an element of danger where your life could be taken, you could be thrown into jail for many years, you could be sued. There's so many things can go wrong when you stand up. So, just praising someone and not realizing that person not only doing it to grandstand, but for the love of his country, and no matter what happened to him personally, that requires a lot of love. Okay, and congratulations.
Yes, I too would like to, respond to what you said, Nadika. I don't know your brother well. I met him once or twice. I hear him regularly. I listen to him. I like to listen to him. He speaks like someone that has, knowledge of what he's talking about.
Yes.
He is a guy that thinks out of the box. That's very clear. Listen to him. He's solution oriented. So that I know of him. But I have to say that yesterday I looked at TV and I saw him too. I saw him. I could not follow everything because I didn't see the beginning, and it was all in French. But I'll tell you, what you say connects with me. I saw the guy stand up there, and it was clear. He's a natural leader.
Yeah.
He's a natural leader.
Exactly.
And when you look at your brother, you could see that he for real. Sometimes people ain't for real.
Yeah.
He's another one who for real. He listen, I could have been deaf, but just seeing the guy, seeing his whole posture, how he approached the gendarme, it was clear the gendarme was careful with him. He no small guy to start with, But apart from that, he has a very strong presence, a determined presence, And when I look at it, and I look at other people around him, I saw something on the northern side of the island that filled me with pride. It really filled me with pride, and I got goosebumps because, you know, there was a young lady there too, and she came up to, you know, you know, they were standing next to your brother, and there were a number of people, you know, and these are the things that I find our politicians, these people would be better in government than our politicians.
Oh.
Because these people confront the threat, and that's what I want to talk about, you know, as my little introduction. Because we are very concerned about, you know, various threats, you know, that basically are making us victims by genocide, you know, of substitution. And those threats come in all kinds of forms. You know, a lot of people in St.Martin don't realize that we're really under a general attack, you know, from all kinds of persons, all kinds of people, all kinds of groups, you know. And one of the latest attacks that I see coming, you know, a lot of attacks come from France, you know, because of their cultural whatever, because we so-called are a colony, and from Holland as well. Now, the latest threat that I see is coming from Holland, and I make a note of it. It's in the newspaper today. And these are things that we have to be very careful with. It's about a law that has been passed in in Holland that that is called that approves the lesbian parental right. Right? Lesbian parental right.
Mm-hmm.
This thing now is going to be pushed down the throat of St.Martin people because we are part, so-called, of the kingdom. You know, and when you read certain newspapers, the Today newspaper in particular, it's as if we have no choice but to accept. I have a major problem with that because it's going to totally disrupt who we are, right? I mean, I looked up certain terms that they use. Shocking. Terms like pink families. What the heck is a pink family? Maybe in Amsterdam, pink family means something, right? Like red districts. You know, because the Dutch people, they're so liberal that they don't even have any faith, right? You know, red district is prostitution, and that's an open, families go there, children go with families, pass by while eating ice cream.
They got a blue light district also.
But the point I'm trying to make is the danger of all of these developments coming on us, you know, is what you call cultural domination, cultural imperialism, you know. Another term that we are going to be hearing a lot, you know, in connection with this lesbian parental rights, right, is like dual mother. So you have a lesbian couple, you know, two women, yeah. One is the real mother, the other one they call the dual mother, you know. In some cases they call the other one the father. Mind you, they have the same sexual organ. I mean, the impact that this is having on our society, our children, totally disruptive. When you disrupt the cultural pattern of a country, right? You disrupt the cultural identity. You disrupt. This is an attack of the existence as a people as you know them, you know. And I'm very concerned about this type of development, you know. And that's why again I want to plead with St.Martin people that the only way we can deal with these situations is to band together as a people, because that's our strength, you know. Band together as St.Martin people, not necessarily Dutch St.Martin, as St.Martin people, you know, so that eventually we can fight for our cause, whether it's, you know, in the region, unite, because the time is going to come. The time is going to come, and I think it's going to tie into the CARICOM later too, where we can approach the CARICOM as well, because it is not normal. I don't think any country, not even a mother country, has the right to impose, you know, it's a cultural experiments, because I call it experiments. They're experimenting with traditions that have been there for ages, right? And that have basically created certain relationships between families and inside of families as well, you know. So that is my concern, you know, and maybe this is something, a topic for the future, but this is one of my concerns that I really want to express.
First of all, let me say I don't know your brother. I have no knowledge what you are talking about. But from what was said, he is definitely a patriot. And if everybody wants to know what the meaning of a patriot, a person who will die for his country for the right cause. It's above any political realm. It is something, it's a spiritual thing. being in what is said a while ago, I already know that the challenges that we're going to face as a group, it continues to mount. Because we're not only fighting for our existence now and our identity, but our lifestyle is being threatened. And as we know for a fact, both sides of the island, north and south, the politicians could care less. And I can tell you why I say that. I remember last year in the French election, I remind people to be very careful who you're voting for. If you are to bring in political ideology, because people know that Hollandaise was a guy for same sex. So you know when you vote for him, and he didn't lie, he's being real. He's just fulfilling what he promised. We have to learn to judge people by the word and the character. And we have to stand for what we believe in. This stance, what we're taking at the grassroots, has become even much more greater because we're fighting a lot of battles. And only if you are real to the deal can you stand until the end. This thing is much bigger than we think it is, because it's just happening now. But when it gets more full force in St. Martin, when it comes a norm that you see two men and man passing and kissing on the street, holding hands, then you're going to feel threatened. When that happens, it is already too late. The fight should have started long ago, and the fight must be on now. And remember, refusing to fight means you accept it already. So then, if you accept it, prepare to live and deal with the consequences.
I definitely on that note want to pick up Tao also for the stand he took yesterday, and it was not a surprise to me because I know Tao, and I know he's not a nonsense guy. And the good thing about Tao is that he knows how to stand, he knows what to stand for, and he knows to defend himself. He don't need no army behind him, because he know what he's doing, and when he step forward, he know who he's stepping on. And we need a lot more like Tao. So
Yes.
Matt needs some more Taos.
And you know, a few years ago, I remember speaking to him and about 6-7 years ago, and I told him, I think y'all need to. And when I spoke to him this morning, I remind him that I said that to him. I think y'all need to be different to the rest of them, because I am only seeing you both as fundamentalists. Because you have to be a real person, and you have to live with principles and accept that you're going to make sacrifices in order for you to do what you're doing. Because when I hear him say this morning, so what if I went in jail? Because people tell him, but what you're doing going to make you go in jail. And he said this morning, and it touched me very much, so what if I go in jail? In other words, and what even if I die? I mean, for my country.
Real to the deal.
Real. People, let's get real. Let's become Tao. Let's use him as an example, because he's not someone that misuse his position. He's not an opportunist, because he has absolutely nothing. If I were him as a person, I don't think I'd be doing what I'm doing right now for the sacrifices that he's making as a young man, because he's in his middle age right now. I think he's about 50, yes. And he started that from the time he was like 22 or 23. And he never stopped one day. Never stopped one day. He was abused so many times. He was pushed out of jobs. He was pushed out of opportunities. His family was sacrificed. Thank God for his wife still, despite all of her differences, what she's been through. But she stand along his side, and I really have to commend her for that.
God bless her.
And I got to commend my brother for the job that he's doing for St. Martin people.
I would like to end with that, with asking us to give a round of applause to Tao, because I really think he's a patriot.
I also want to touch on, before we go into the meat of the matter, I didn't hear it yesterday, but they told me that Smiley was here talking about that he had a lawyer here.
Yeah.
Saying how the
Great
St. Martin, how the South would have deceived the people by with the laws that is here, and the leaders could have enlightened St. Martin people to know about this syncopa geometry, and help the St. Martin people to really get the deeds for their paper, for the lands and for the properties, and and they just were neglected because of there we come again with leadership, weak leadership, neglecting the St. Martin people on every front. You hear a little bit about it?
Yes, I listened to the whole program.
Okay.
I listened to the whole program, and it come back to show you when we have a certain regime that rule this place with an iron fist for their own greed for the last 30 years or for the last 27 years. What do you expect? When you fail 3 decades of people, and today we are standing here uninformed, they rule us with an iron fist in our innocence. Because when you don't know, I think a government or leader supposed to lead its people in the right direction. I think a government supposed to lead its people to the benefits and the interests of the people, and not to victimize the people in their innocence. These kind of things need to be taken to the United Nations. These kind of things need to be taken to the Bureau of the Tribunal Bureau.
They should be held accountable.
They should be held accountable for what they do. Then they're walking around in this place still like they haven't done anything. And they know that something was wrong somewhere along the line where you have taken people and you have abused the rights of the people because you call it law. And the lawyer said yesterday, the lawmakers has been abused the law because they could have done it. And when you see a set of innocent people, it touched me yesterday when I heard him talking, a set of innocent people being abused.
And the thing about it is they take care of their business.
They take care of their business, and their well-being have been taken out of their hands. So many things happen. One of the things that really I'm concerned about is our beaches, where we know we freely could have go to a beach, and today you can't get to a beach nowhere.
Hardly get in the beach anymore.
You cannot. And those are the beaches that we preserve. Those are the beaches that was upkeep by us. Those are the beaches that and the land, of course, was upkeep by the St. Martin people when the ancestors left.
By gated communities.
And today they are gated communities. People need to open their eyes. They don't need to listen, or they don't need to like what I am saying as a person. They don't need to like my attitude as a person, but they need to know what is facts, what is real, what is happening to them, how much all of us has been victimized by something that called law. And we are voting within our constitutional rights for this law, and this law is totally against us.
Against us. But it's not against us, it's our leaders we put there against us. They're the one who are against us because they could do better. They could, just like how in the beginning of since we become collectivity, we had our leader there who started off, who have